there was sort of an inefficiency in this market to understanding how sports business models worked. A lot of these organizations in sports don't optimize for profit, right? They're not maximizing profit. All of the money that these team owners would receive, they pump it right back into the team. So effectively, profit was zero for everybody. It was the revenue that really gave certain teams an advantage. So we kind of ran with that, and that just kind of comes back to, I think, especially in, I guess it would have been advanced micro, various schematics of maximizing utility. Got my master's degree in econ at Wichita State. I looked at probably 8 to 10 different schools, including my undergraduate school. What I liked about Wichita State was the ability to have a thesis track, or at least have that option. Like nobody's forced to do a thesis, but you have to do a project for a thesis. I loved having that ability to do one or the other. I loved that there were multiple tracks that I could choose. My assistantship was with Dr. Longhofer. And even though he's not in the econ department, that was orchestrated by way of the econ department by Dr. Hirsch. And the fact that professors went out of their way to find that opening there's not a lot of schools who are going to take the time to help make something like that happen. And that meant the world to me. That sort of clinched it for me. I really learned how nuanced those discussions can be, and how economic theory certainly is relevant to the sports industry. And econometric or economic theory was not the strong suit of a lot of sports entities, and being able to introduce that I think has been helpful. Leading up to this chat, I've thought a lot about my time, just trying to figure out, okay, all the stuff I learned there, how am I applying it today, right? Because at the end of the day, that's really what you want to know, is how is the stuff you're going through right now relevant to what you'll be doing in 5 or 10 or 15 years? The answer for me is I'm taking just about everything I've learned to some extent or another and applying it to what I'm doing with my job today. And when I speak to a lot of data science classes, I go a little more in depth on the data science aspect, but you are introduced to a lot of that through the econ program. The econometrics classes, forecasting with Dr. Chang, I'm actually staring right at the textbook right now for that, and I'm not kidding. Let me pull it out here. So yeah, I literally open this up like at least a few times a month. You've learned all these great things in grad school and in econ. You're going to go out in the real world, you're going to apply all these things. Being able to explain them to whatever audience you're working with, that's the most valuable thing. One of our drivers this past weekend even said that stats are for losers. So that was really great to hear. But so interestingly in NASCAR, somebody has to build these cars and to make them fast. And those that generally falls on the shoulders of degreed engineers, generally mechanical engineers. So they generally get the importance of data and statistics, but they don't understand it. And I think this is where something like economics really comes into play in a role like this, where, economic thinking, you're really thinking at the margins, right? You're thinking about the marginal impact of all these different factors on something you're trying to predict or something you're trying to understand. I think to your microeconomics classes, you'll create a demand function. All different variables, and you're trying to figure out what, if one variable changes, all others equal, what's that marginal impact? And while engineers are very, very bright at building models and building machines, I think that concept of kind of optimization based on marginal effects and marginal impacts is something that I think economists generally understand quicker than other industries and other fields. And so while it was certainly a mixed bag where I think drivers were very dismissive of it, I think for the most part there was a lot of curiosity, maybe not understanding, but at least knowing it's like, okay, this is something we don't know about, let's learn more. I love my experience, and I'm really glad that I chose that route. And Yeah, I would encourage you guys to just take full advantage of those different options, right? I'm just a nerd about it, but having like the opportunity to kind of, obviously there are base classes that you have to take, but some of those classes you kind of get to pick and choose what to take. I just think that was the neatest thing. And not every program has a wide enough base to be able to offer different options like that. And I really like that.